So, in 2012, the cinema in this town was closed, and now we have a casino. So, a few months ago of this year, I saw the trailer for The Light Between Oceans, starring Alicia Vikander and Michael Fassbender and Rachel Wise. And I obviously wanted to watch it, but I couldn't because we have a casino instead of a cinema. So I was like, whoa, there is something else you can do. So I decided to get the book, The Light Between Oceans by M.L. Stedman. And this is a book review on it. So the basic summary of the Light Between Oceans is that there's this man called Tom, and Tom works is the lighthouse keeper in one of the areas around Australia. So most of the book is based around the Australian region, and Tom works in this lighthouse. It's obviously not in the mainland. And Tom, when about to start working, he meets this woman named Isabel, but nothing really happens between them. But they decide to write. Well, Isabel first starts writing to Tom, and then they decide to like talk and everything. And when Tom goes to Isabel's town, they basically fall in love. They get married, and Isabel moves to the lighthouse with Tom. And they're happy. She falls pregnant, but she has a miscarriage. And throughout the time there, she repeatedly has miscarriages. And one day, when Isabel is visiting the graves of her children, she hears a baby crying, and Tom also hears this baby. And when they go to check out what's happening, they discover a man in a boat who's dead, and a child who's the baby that's crying. And that's the main plot of the story. Or they keep the child or not. It's not their child. So yes. But if you watch the trailer of the movie, it's basically going to give away the whole plot. So don't watch the trailer before you read the book. Um, I loved the book. It's not the best book that I've ever read, but I loved it. I loved how Tom was able to describe himself. Like, it is wonderful. Like, the way that the author is able to describe Tom is amazing. And because Tom at some point is like, he had been at the lighthouse for so long that he hadn't even heard his own voice. I'm like, how alone can this man get? Tom is a very like, he sticks to himself most of the time, but I think he's a good person. Questionable things that he does, but he's good overall. And I also love the description of the lighthouse and what the job entails. As much as I was obviously not interested in that, I don't care about lighthouses. My sister likes lighthouses though, but I don't care, to be honest. But it was a job well done on the author's behalf. And I also loved the dynamic between Tom and Isabel. They are very different people, but um, the way that they were able to make things work at the beginning, as well as showing that they're very different people, but they still love each other. Like, Tom really loves Isabel, I have to say. And one line that stood out for me was, oh, so Tom was part of the war, because the book takes place in the 1920s kind of thing. And so Tom had been to fight in World War One, and he had like he was traumatized obviously. And one line that stood out from, not a line actually, it's a few lines, was when Tom was talking to Isabel and he was like, there are times I wanted an answer, I can tell you that much. Times I saw a man's last breath and I wanted to ask him, where have you gone? You were right here besides me just a few seconds ago, and now some bits of metal have been holes in your skin because they hit you fast enough, and suddenly you're somewhere else. How can that be? And I loved that. I love that question because I think it just goes straight into the whole death thing. How does it just happen suddenly and every person that you knew just died? What I didn't like about the book is that it drags, it drags, it drags. It shouldn't have had to be 400 pages. It really shouldn't. But it was, it dragged. So you need to mentally prepare yourself how long it will drag. And also the beginning kind of like drags. The author doesn't get to the points quickly enough. But overall, it's a good book. I'd give it 3 stars out of 5. Um, and that's it. Bye.